No. I don't have a button.
So how long have you been knitting?
About 5 years now.
So do you remember your first stitch?
Yeah. I remember it like it was yesterday. Yeah. I was about 12 years old, and I remember it like it was yesterday. Yeah, I was playing with my mom's knitting needles. I found them in a drawer when she wasn't home. I was homesick, and I found some yarn and I tied it on the needle, and it felt good. It felt real good. And I cast it on a few more rows, and it felt better and better. And before I knew it, I was hooked.
So how did you go from a kid casting on a few knots to a full-grown knitter?
Oh, well, that's easy. You know, it's one thing to be a kid casting on a few knots of yarn, but sooner or later, you run out of yarn, and then you gotta get some more.
Here's how it went.
You got my stuff?
Yeah, I got it.
What you got?
I got all kinds of stuff, man. I got some reds, I got some greens. I've even got some high-grade Angora stuff. This stuff ain't cheap.
How much?
We're talking 10. You got 10?
Yeah.
Well, let's have it, man. Whoa, not so high. Get that in. Okay, now remember, you get caught with this stuff, you never met me. So when I got home, I looked at the stuff I scored and I couldn't believe it. I was so excited, all the different yarns, all the colors, the smell of the wool, the Angora. It was all I could think about. I'd wake up in the morning thinking about yarn, I'd go to bed thinking about yarn. Worst of all, I couldn't sleep. And soon, people started to notice that I was staying up late and I was tired. My eyes were all red, so I started wearing dark sunglasses to hide it. Instead of reading my school books, I was reading other things like Knitting Journal, Good Housekeeping, and Martha Stewart Living. And I was excited about my knitting, and I started to act and dress differently. I wanted people to know who I was and what I symbolized. It was about, I'd say I was 14 when I finally came out of the closet about it. Finally, when I knew my heart, I went to my parents.
Mom, it's time you knew. I'm a knitter.
What? You what?
I knit.
How can you do this? How could you let this happen? I warned you over and over again. What's your father gonna say?
Dad?
Dad,
Yeah? What? What do you want? What?
I'm a knitter.
What? What do you mean you're a knitter? No man in this house knits. It's not something we do in this house. I'll teach you what a man does. Get you. So, it wasn't long after that I figured things weren't going to work out at home, and I had to move out. I lived in some pretty bad places, some real hellholes, you know, with rats, basements, damp places, cold. I'm kind of lucky to be alive, you know. You never know what's going to happen in some of those places. So the day I knew I had a problem, I looked in the mirror and it wasn't me at all. It was some kind of devil or something. So from there, well, after I got cleaned up and I got out of the hospital and got everything settled with the law, they set me up with a 12-step program, and I really think that's what got me on the road to recovery. And because really it was at that program, that's where I got to know Jesus.
You mean Jesus?
No, Jesus, he was recovered. He'd been about 5 years out on the program, and he was doing so well. He really made me rethink my life and where I was going.
My name's Josh and I'm a knitter.
Welcome,
Hello,
Josh.
Hi, Josh.
Hey, you mustn't do that.
I can't help it.
No, you must be strong.
I have to.
Oh, I just try and live life one day at a time and to stay focused and not to slide back. And I've tried to put my energy into other things, more constructive things. Yeah. Huh? Okay.